It was supposed to be a quiet Sunday drive, a rare moment of peace for a man carrying the weight of an entire state. But when red and blue lights cut through the heavy rain at a lonely gas station, everything changed. A small-town officer saw a target. He had no idea he was about to handcuff the most powerful man in the state. What happens when the badge you abuse suddenly answers to the very man you just assaulted? The rain fell in sheets that night, drumming against the roof of an old 2014 Ford Bronco. Governor Noah Bradley loved that truck. It was a relic from his life before the mansion, before endless press conferences and the suffocating presence of executive security. Tonight, he just wanted to drive. He had ordered his lead security agent, Dylan Cole, to hang back at least 2 miles. He needed the illusion of solitude. Noah was a man who had built his career on composure. At 48, he was the first black governor in the state's history, a former civil rights attorney who had dismantled the opposition with quiet, undeniable brilliance. But tonight, stripped of his tailored suits, wearing a faded gray Georgetown hoodie, worn denim jeans, and a dark beanie pulled low, he was just a tired man needing coffee and a full tank of gas. He crossed into Oak Haven, a small, insular district nestled in the northern pines. The flickering yellow sign of an old Shell station appeared through the fog like a lighthouse. Noah pulled onto the cracked concrete, tires splashing through oily puddles. The station was nearly empty, save for an attendant named Arthur, glued to a small television behind smudged glass. Noah stepped out, shivering as the cold wind hit him. He swiped his card, grabbed the nozzle, and began fueling. Leaning against his truck, staring into the black tree line, he finally let his shoulders drop. Then the darkness shattered. Red and blue lights exploded across the wet pavement, followed by the sharp whoop of a siren. A patrol car swerved into the station, cutting the wheel hard, boxing his truck against the pump. Noah didn't flinch. A lifetime in his skin had trained him for exactly this moment. He placed the nozzle back into its cradle, keeping his movements slow and visible. The cruiser doors swung open, and Officer Thomas Cleary stepped into the rain. Broad-shouldered, in his late 30s, a local boy who wore his authority like a loaded weapon, he rested his hand on his holstered pistol. "Step away from the vehicle. Keep your hands where I can see them," Cleary barked, his voice echoing under the metal canopy. "Evening, officer," Noah replied, calm and even, raising his hands to chest level, palms open. "Is there a problem?" "I'll ask the questions," Cleary snapped, closing the distance. Rain dripped from his hat. His eyes scanned Noah, lingering on the hood, the worn clothes, the old truck, and his expression curled into a sneer of instant dismissal. "What are you doing in Oak Haven?" "Just passing through," Noah said. "Heading south. Needed gas." "Passing through? In a truck registered to a Shell company?" The Bronco was registered to a blind trust, standard protocol for executive protection. "It's a private trust, officer. My registration is in the glove compartment." "Don't move toward the car," Cleary commanded, unstrapping his holster. "We've had burglaries in the neighborhoods across the ridge. Folks matching your description, prowling at night." Noah's jaw tightened. The coded language was as loud as the siren. "Officer, I have no interest in anyone's property. If you let me retrieve my wallet, we can clear this up in 10 seconds. "I told you not to move," Cleary snapped, stepping into Noah's space, the smell of stale coffee and peppermint gum washing over him. "Turn around, hands flat on the hood." The governor of the state, a man who commanded the National Guard, hesitated for a fraction of a second, then began to comply. "Officer Cleary," Noah said, reading the man's silver name tag. "Turn around or I will put you on the concrete right now," Cleary yelled, drawing his taser, painting Noah's chest with twin red dots. Inside the station, Arthur pressed his face to the glass, phone trembling in his hand. Noah raised his hands higher. "I am complying," he said smoothly, pivoting to face the cold metal of his truck, placing his palms flat on the hood. "But I need to state for the record that you are making a catastrophic error in judgment." "Shut your mouth," Cleary hissed, shoving him hard against the vehicle. The metal was freezing against Noah's cheek. "You people always have a smart answer," Cleary muttered. A whisper meant only for Noah. "Think you can roll through my town in the middle of the night looking for an easy score?" "I am not looking for a score," Noah said, steady despite the adrenaline. "If you run my plates through the state database, you will see a flagged executive hold. The dispatcher will tell you exactly who I am." "I know exactly what you are," Cleary sneered. The cold steel of handcuffs bit into Noah's left wrist. The ratcheting sound of metal teeth locking seemed deafening. Cleary wrenched his arm behind his back, forcing a sharp breath from his lungs, then secured the right wrist, tight, punishing, sending sharp spikes of pain up his forearms. "Listen to me very carefully," Noah said, turning his head to look at the officer over his shoulder. The time for humility had passed. "My name is Noah Bradley. I am the governor of this state. You are unlawfully detaining the chief executive. When I make one phone call, this night will end your career." Cleary let out a sharp, mocking laugh that carried over the rain. "The governor? That's the best one I've heard all year. The governor is sitting in a mansion right now, buddy, not pumping his own gas in a hoodie at 2 in the morning. Call it in," Noah challenged, his eyes burning with sudden authority that made Cleary take half a step back. "Check my left jacket pocket. There is a state-issued identification card." "I'll check your pockets when I decide to," Cleary snapped, grabbing the collar of Noah's hoodie and jerking him backward. He marched Noah to the cruiser, pushed his head down, and shoved him into the back seat. The door slammed shut, sealing him inside a hard plastic cage that smelled of sweat and cleaner. Outside, Cleary shined his flashlight into the Bronco's windows, finding nothing in plain sight. He walked back, opened the rear door, and reached into Noah's pockets. From his jeans, he pulled out a heavy, matte black smartphone, custom-built and encrypted, issued only to top state officials, with no logo, only thick, rubberized casing. "What kind of burner phone is this?" "An encrypted state communications device," Noah replied, refusing to break eye contact. "It requires biometric authentication, but if you press the button on the side, it connects directly to State Police Command." "You're a real piece of work," Cleary said, tossing the phone onto his passenger seat. He keyed his radio. "Dispatch, Unit 4. I have a subject in custody at the Shell station on Route 9. Male, combative, delusional. Claims to be the governor." "Copy that, Unit 4. Need transport?" A bored dispatcher answered. "Negative. I'll bring him in. Run a plate for me." Noah sat in the darkness, cuffs biting deeper into his wrists, focusing on his breathing. He wasn't scared. He was furious, for the countless young men who never had a title to shield them from a man like Cleary, and furious that this was happening in the very state he governed. Then a jarring ringtone shattered the silence, coming not from Cleary's radio, but from the heavy black phone on the passenger seat, its screen glowing an aggressive red. The caller ID read in bold white letters, "Command 0, urgent." Smirking, thinking he was about to catch an accomplice, Cleary swiped the screen and put it on speaker. "Let's see which one of your friends is calling." A sharp, clipped voice erupted from the phone, devoid of emotion. "Eagle 1, this is Vanguard. We lost telemetry on the primary vehicle for 40 seconds. Confirm status immediately." Cleary laughed. "What kind of role play is this? This is Officer Cleary of the Oak Haven Police Department. The owner of this phone is sitting in the back of my cruiser in handcuffs. You want to tell me who you are?" There was a dead, terrifying silence on the line. It lasted exactly 3 seconds. When the voice returned, the clinical calm had vanished, replaced by an icy, calculated rage that seemed to lower the temperature inside the cruiser. "Officer Cleary," the voice said softly, the quietness making it infinitely more dangerous. "Look at the man in the back of your car." "I'm looking at him," Cleary shot back, puffing his chest out, though a strange knot had formed in his stomach. "You have exactly 10 seconds to take those cuffs off him." "Excuse me, you don't give orders in my county." "Officer Thomas Cleary, badge number 4492, the voice interrupted, reciting the information with chilling speed. "You are speaking to Special Agent Dylan Cole, commander of the State Executive Protection Unit. The man in the back of your vehicle is Noah Bradley, governor of this state. I am 2.4 miles from your location, approaching at 110 miles per hour. If those handcuffs are not off the governor by the time my vehicle crosses that apron, you will be considered a hostile threat to the chief executive, and my team will respond accordingly." Cleary froze. A cold sweat broke across the back of his neck. He looked through the wire partition at Noah, who sat there completely serene, looking back at him with an expression of profound pity. "This is a joke," Cleary stammered, keying his shoulder mic. "Dispatch, Unit 4. Did you run that plate?" The radio hissed. The dispatcher's voice returned, all boredom gone, frantic and breathless. "Tommy, where are you? Give me your exact location right now." "Shell station on Route 9. What is it, Brenda?" "Tommy, listen to me. That plate belongs to a secured government blind trust. The system just locked me out. State police dispatch in the capital just overrode our frequency. They are demanding to know if the governor is safe. Tommy, what did you do?" Cleary dropped the radio mic. It dangled from his shoulder, swinging back and forth. 7 seconds, Cleary." Agent Cole's voice drifted from the speaker. Cleary's hands began to tremble. The sheer magnitude of his mistake crashed over him. He scrambled out of the front seat, the rain instantly soaking his uniform, and ripped open the back door. Noah hadn't moved. "Governor, Cleary choked on the words, reaching for his handcuff key, his fingers fumbling, dropping the small metal key into the mud. "Leave them on," Noah commanded. "Sir, please, let me take them off. It was a mistake. It was dark. I couldn't see." "I said leave them on," Noah repeated, his voice radiating absolute authority. "You wanted to treat me like a suspect, Officer Cleary. You wanted to make me an example. We are going to play this out exactly the way you started it." "Governor, please," Cleary begged, falling to his knees in the puddles. "I have a pension. I have a family." "So do the young men you normally pull over on this stretch of road," Noah said coldly. Before Cleary could say another word, the low hum of high-performance engines bled through the rain. It wasn't one engine. It was a pack. Headlights pierced the fog, blindingly bright, swarming rather than approaching. 2 jet-black, unmarked Suburbans vaulted over the concrete curb, executing a tactical block, trapping Cleary's cruiser completely. Behind them, 3 state police interceptors screamed into the lot, their light bars turning the gas station into a chaotic disco of blue and white. 6 men in dark suits and tactical vests poured out. This was the governor's executive protection unit, highly trained, fiercely loyal, and absolutely lethal. Leading the charge was Dylan Cole, tall, heavily built, with a buzz cut and a face carved from granite, advancing with terrifying, predatory speed. "State police, do not move!" a trooper roared, aiming a rifle directly at the kneeling Cleary. "I'm a cop! I'm local PD!" Cleary screamed, his voice cracking with panic. Cole ignored him entirely, closing the distance to the cruiser in 3 massive strides, shoving Cleary aside. He ripped the back door open wider, and when he saw Noah sitting there, hands cuffed behind his back, a muscle in his jaw ticked visibly. "Governor, are you injured, sir?" "I'm fine, Dylan," Noah said calmly. "Just a bit cramped." Cole turned back to the troopers. "Get him up, disarm him, take his badge, strip his comms." "You can't do this," Cleary protested weakly as 2 troopers hauled him to his feet, stripping his weapon, his radio, his silver shield. "I have jurisdiction here." "You don't have jurisdiction over a puddle in this state anymore, Cleary," Cole said, his voice dropping to a terrifying register. He turned back to Noah, producing his own handcuff keys. "Allow me, sir." "No, Dylan," Noah said, stepping out of the cruiser on his own, cuffs still binding his wrists, the flashing blue lights illuminating his stern, unyielding face. He walked slowly toward Cleary, who couldn't meet his eyes, staring at the ground, shivering uncontrollably. "Officer Cleary, I want you to take a good look at me." Cleary slowly raised his head, looking like a beaten dog. "You put these cuffs on me because of what you thought you saw," Noah said quietly, so only Cleary and Cole could hear. "You saw a hoodie. You saw a black man. You saw a target you thought had no voice. You thought you were the apex predator on this dark stretch of highway." He stepped closer. "I am leaving these cuffs on for the ride back to the Capitol, because tomorrow morning I am calling a joint session of the legislature. I am walking up to that podium in these exact clothes, wearing these exact cuffs. I am going to show the entire world exactly what happens on the back roads of this state when the cameras are off." "Take him away," Noah said to the troopers, turning his back on the broken officer. "Call the state attorney general. Tell him I want federal civil rights charges drafted before sunrise." Behind the glass, Arthur finally lowered his phone, watching the man he had seen pumping his own gas minutes earlier being walked, still in handcuffs, toward a waiting Suburban. He would tell this story for the rest of his life, and no one would ever quite believe him. The motorcade tore down the interstate like a missile, black steel and flashing blue strobes cutting through the relentless downpour. Inside the lead Suburban, the silence was heavy and pressurized. Noah's hands remained secured behind his back in Cleary's own handcuffs. The metal had grown warm against his skin, but the sharp edges bit mercilessly into his swollen wrists with every bump. His shoulders ached with a dull, throbbing fire, but his face betrayed nothing.
"Put Sarah on the secure line, speaker," Noah ordered. "Noah," Sarah Jenkins' voice filled the cabin. As the governor's chief of staff, she was a legendary political operator, fiercely intelligent, who had guided Noah through the ugliest campaigns in the state's history. "Cole just gave me the report. Tell me you are not hurt." "I have bruised wrists and a wounded sense of municipal hospitality, Sarah. I'm fine," Noah replied. "But we are about to start a war, and I need you to draft the battle plans." "The Attorney General is already on his way to my office. Robert is pulling every civil rights statute on the books. But Oak Haven is a Union stronghold. The Police Benevolent Association will spin this the second the sun comes up and try to bury the racial profiling angle under procedural jargon." "They can try," Noah said coldly. "But they are missing a critical piece of the puzzle. Before Cleary threw me in the back of his cruiser, he was bragging about a string of burglaries in the neighborhoods across the ridge. He was openly admitting to running patrols based solely on racial profiles. He wasn't patrolling, he was hunting." The typing on Sarah's end stopped dead. "A dragnet? If Oak Haven PD is running an off-the-books profiling operation, that's not a rogue cop. That's systemic. That's a federal consent decree waiting to happen." "Exactly," Noah said. "But by tomorrow morning, the Oak Haven police chief will have scrubbed every server in his precinct to protect his department." Agent Cole interjected. "The dashcam. Cleary's cruiser has a fleet camera system that buffers audio and video. It captured the entire encounter. But Oak Haven PD command has remote access. They can hit a kill switch and wipe the footage before we can subpoena it." Noah's eyes snapped open. "They can't wipe what they can't access. Dylan, where is the Oak Haven Police Headquarters?" 10 miles west of the gas station, sir." "Send the state police tactical team," Noah ordered, his voice dropping into a register of pure executive authority. "Not to ask politely. Execute a physical seizure of their dispatch center and server rooms. Nobody enters, nobody leaves, and nobody touches a keyboard until the Attorney General arrives with the warrants." Cole didn't hesitate. "Consider it done, sir." In the sleepy, wooded center of Oak Haven, Chief William Carter, a heavy-set man nearing retirement who ran his town like a personal fiefdom, was jolted awake by the shrill ring of the red landline on his desk. "Tommy Cleary pulled someone over at the Shell station," dispatcher Brenda cried, her voice trembling. "He bagged the governor. He put Noah Bradley in handcuffs. The state police just swarmed the station. They took Tommy's gun. They stripped his badge." Carter dropped the phone. Blood drained from his face. Panic seized his chest. He didn't think about Cleary. He thought about the servers. He thought about Operation Night Watch, the illegal, unwritten directive he had issued to monitor and interrogate minority drivers crossing into Oak Haven's wealthy subdivisions. Months of dashcam footage and internal messages confirmed the racial quotas. If the state got their hands on that data, Carter wouldn't just lose his pension. He would spend the rest of his life in a federal penitentiary. He sprinted into the server room, hammering his password into the keyboard, moving his cursor toward the master delete protocol. "Step away from the console, Chief Carter." Carter froze. Standing in the doorway was a state police tactical operator in full combat gear, a rifle in the low ready position. Behind him, half a dozen more troopers poured into the precinct. Captain James Miller of the Major Crimes Unit stepped forward, holding a folded document. "You're welcome to try, Bill. Step away from that terminal. I'm the Chief of Police. You have no jurisdiction here without a federal warrant." The operator raised his rifle, a red dot painting Carter's chest. "The Attorney General is 20 minutes away with emergency preservation orders signed by the Chief Justice," Miller said, his voice hardening into steel. "The governor ordered us to ensure the chain of custody remains unbroken. Touch that mouse, and you'll be arrested for destruction of evidence and obstruction of justice." The fight drained out of Carter instantly. "You don't understand," he whispered. "Cleary, he's a hothead. It was a mistake." "It's going to be a very expensive one," Miller said, gesturing to his technicians. "Bag the servers, image every hard drive, lock down the dispatch logs." 40 miles away, the motorcade breached the iron gates of the executive mansion, fully illuminated, buzzing with chaotic energy. Sarah Jenkins and Attorney General Robert Hayes waited on the steps, flanked by medical staff. Agent Cole stepped out first, followed by Governor Noah Bradley. Sarah gasped, covering her mouth. The most powerful man in the state stepped into the harsh floodlights, his clothes damp and rumpled, his hands still secured behind his back in shining silver handcuffs. "Noah," Sarah breathed, rushing forward. "I do not require medical attention," Noah said calmly to the physician rushing toward him with a trauma kit. "I require a photographer." Robert Hayes, a sharp-featured prosecutor, stared at the cuffs, his jaw clenching in fury. "Governor, let Cole take those off. You've made your point." "The point hasn't been made yet, Robert," Noah said, walking into the grand foyer, chandeliers reflecting harshly off the metal binding his wrists. "Officer Cleary told me the governor sits in a mansion and doesn't pump his own gas. He told me people who look like me are just prowlers looking for a score. He felt comfortable doing this because he believed the system would protect him." He stopped in the center of the marble floor, his eyes alight with fierce, uncompromising fire. "Tomorrow at 9 a.m. the legislature convenes for the budget resolution. I am going to walk into the State House chambers exactly like this. I want every camera network in the country broadcasting it live. I want the world to see the reality that millions of our citizens face every single day." "I'll draft the release," Sarah said. "But the union president, Michael Donnelly, is already booked on the morning shows. He'll claim you resisted arrest." Noah smiled, a cold, predatory expression. "Let him dig his grave on national television. By the time I take the podium, Miller will have finished pulling the logs from Oak Haven." He looked at the Attorney General. "Robert, I want Operation Night Watch dragged into the light, and I want the Department of Justice standing behind you when you do it." By 7:30, the story had metastasized from a local rumor into a national media firestorm. Inside a television studio green room, Michael Donnelly, the combative union president, adjusted his tie, about to go live on national morning television, believing his side still controlled the evidence. "We are getting unprecedented reports the governor was handcuffed last night. What is the union's stance?" the host asked. Donnelly leaned into the camera, projecting rehearsed calm. "This is a classic misunderstanding, blown out of proportion by executive privilege. Officer Cleary encountered an individual who became combative and refused lawful orders. He acted strictly by the book. Nobody is above the law, not even the governor." Inside his private holding room behind the State House rostrum, Noah watched the broadcast on a muted screen. He had worn the steel cuffs for over 7 hours now. The pain had moved past a sharp ache into a deep, sickening numbness. His wrists were heavily bruised, the skin chafed raw, bleeding where the metal teeth had bitten into the flesh. "Donnelly just dug his grave," Sarah said, pacing. Miller forwarded the decrypted Night Watch files to the Attorney General. "It's worse than we thought. They were flagging minority drivers and running forfeiture scams to fund precinct equipment. Are the screens ready? Noah asked quietly. Yes, sir. The joint session is seated. The press gallery is packed over capacity. They are waiting for you. Noah took a deep breath. Let's go. At exactly 9 a.m., the heavy oak doors of the House chamber swung open. 200 legislators, reporters, and legal observers filled the room. Mr. Speaker, the governor of the state. The chamber erupted into polite applause, expecting Noah in his signature tailored suit. Instead, absolute silence crashed over the room. Noah walked down the center aisle, flanked not by smiling aides, but by 4 armed troopers led by Agent Cole. His clothes were dirty, his posture rigid, and as he climbed the steps, the chamber saw the shining steel handcuffs locked behind his back. A collective gasp echoed through the room. Noah reached the podium and leaned into the microphones. "Good morning," he said, his voice carrying a lethal, resonant weight. "An hour ago, the president of the Police Benevolent Association told you I was combative, that the officer who did this to me was acting by the book." He turned slightly, letting the cameras catch his bruised, cuffed wrists. He was right. Officer Thomas Cleary was acting precisely by the book. But it wasn't the book of law. It was the book of Oak Haven's Operation Night Watch. Confused whispers swept the chamber. At 3 this morning, state police tactical units raided the Oak Haven Police Headquarters under my direct order. We secured their dispatch logs, their internal communications, and their dashcam servers before Chief William Carter could permanently erase them. He nodded to Sarah. The screens flanking the rostrum flickered to life, the state seal replaced by Cleary's dashcam footage. The room watched, horrified, as the video showed Noah pumping gas, the cruiser boxing him in, Cleary's voice barking with contempt. "We've had a string of burglaries, folks matching your exact description." They watched him shoved against the hood, the click of handcuffs closing. "The governor? That's rich. He's sitting in a mansion right now, not pumping his own gas in a hoodie at 2 in the morning." When the video cut to black, the silence was suffocating. "That is what happens in the dark," Noah said. "That is what happens when a man is stripped of his title, his suit, and left with nothing but the color of his skin on a lonely road. I survived because I had an encrypted phone and an armed detail 2 miles away. But what about the young man coming home from a late shift? What about the father driving his daughter to the hospital? Chief William Carter ran an illegal, systemic dragnet to terrorize minority citizens crossing into his jurisdiction. We have the data. 412 illegal stops in 14 months, 186 unlawful detentions, concentrated on young Black and Hispanic men. They were hunting us." Attorney General Robert Hayes stood, holding a thick folder. "As of 8:45 this morning, Chief William Carter and Officer Thomas Cleary have been taken into custody. They are being processed on multiple felony charges, including official misconduct, false imprisonment, and evidence tampering. My office has already handed this intelligence to the United States Department of Justice. Federal civil rights indictments are being drafted as we speak." Panic erupted at the back of the chamber. A union lobbyist sprinted for the exit, face pale. "I didn't leave these handcuffs on for theater," Noah said. "I left them on because I needed you to feel the indignity that occurs every day when power operates without accountability. You cannot look away from this. Today, I am introducing the Executive Accountability Act. It will mandate independent civilian oversight boards with subpoena power for every municipality. It will strip qualified immunity from officers found guilty of deliberate racial profiling and decertify corrupt departments outright. We are not leaving this session until it is signed into law." The chamber erupted, not in polite applause, but a thunderous, bipartisan standing ovation. Even Noah's fiercest critics rose, overwhelmed by the raw power of the moment. Agent Cole stepped onto the rostrum. "It's time, sir." Noah nodded. Cole retrieved the small silver key confiscated from Cleary hours earlier. The chamber watched in breathless silence as he inserted it. Click. The left cuff sprang open. Click. The right followed. The steel bracelets fell, clattering onto the wooden floor like a gunshot. Noah slowly brought his arms forward, the camera zooming in on his bruised, torn wrists. He didn't hide them. He held them out, rubbing his forearms as blood rushed back into his hands. He looked down at the discarded handcuffs, then back up at the silent, watching world. "The chains are broken today," Governor Noah Bradley said, his voice quiet but final. "Now we get to work." He turned and walked off the rostrum, his security detail falling in around him, leaving the bloodied, mud-stained handcuffs behind on the mahogany floor, a permanent reminder that true justice only comes when those in power are forced to feel the weight of the chains.